Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. We're here today to do another video review. This time we're going to take a look at some helmets. So if you've seen the videos and articles that we've released in the past couple weeks, we've kind of been focusing on some deals. So we looked at the Vocal off-piece jacket last week. Really good deal on that jacket. It's over 50% off. A few weeks ago we looked at some Scott goggles, kind of highlighted some deals there as well. I've said it before, but we're always really excited when we can offer high-end products at a discounted price, and I think this is a perfect example of that. So basically we're going to look at 4 different helmets from POC today. POC has become a pretty well-known helmet manufacturer. You see a lot of them on the hill. The company is kind of rooted in engineering, performance, and ultimately safety. You see a lot of ski racers wearing POC helmets. You see a lot of freeride world tour, big mountain type athletes wearing POC helmets. So definitely pretty popular. And luckily all of these helmets are available right now at a pretty significant discount. So in the description to this video, I'll put links to each helmet. And I'll also put a link to the main written portion of this article. And a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, we also did a written article going a little bit more in depth with a couple of these helmets. So if you're really looking for that kind of nitty-gritty detail, check out that article because there's a lot of kind of technical stats. We did some measurements with Newton meters. So check that out if you want that really in-depth technical information. And without further ado, we're gonna look at some helmets. Kind of discuss differences between each model because there are some kind of subtle differences that make them better or worse for a certain kind of skier. So we'll take a look at that. So to start off, we're going to look at the Receptor Bug. POC does a really good job with their packaging, by the way. They come with helmet bags, lots of accessories in the POC helmet box. So I'm not going to show you all of that stuff, but you've probably seen a white POC helmet bag before. It's really high quality material. It's kind of like a goggle bag, but big for your helmet. So yeah, this is the Receptor Bug. This is the newest version of the Receptor Bug. It has been around for a few years, but this is the latest iteration of this model. It's the adjustable 2.0 Receptor Bug. Really cool helmet. Super popular for all mountain skiers. Really like any kind of all mountain skier could use the Receptor Bug. But what I always focus on with this helmet, it's got this really unique double exterior shell. So every time, wherever you see white on the top of the helmet there, that's actually going through to another exterior shell. So we'll take a look at some other helmets that have kind of different ventilation. But what's nice about this is you get zero penetration from anything through the helmet. So when I think of the Receptor Bug, I think of my brother a lot. He's the type of skier that is kind of, I used this in the written portion of the article too. He uses his head to clear tree branches out of the way. And he's the type of skier that, he loves tight terrain. Kind of the more challenging, the tighter the trees, the more likely you're going to find him. And every time I see his Receptor Bug helmet, it's just covered in little, like, not scratches, but just kind of color marks from all the tree branches he hit. If you're that type of skier, this helmet is awesome because you can rest assured that you're going to stay safe. Nothing's going to penetrate through the helmet. And it's kind of cool because it's offset. Basically, these two shells are offset, so you still get pretty good ventilation in this helmet. I will say that if you're the type of skier that runs hot, the Receptor Bug might not be for you because you can't really fully open up the vents. So more of a resort helmet in my opinion, and you're going to understand why I say that when we look at some other models. This is also the heaviest out of the four helmets that we're going to look at, but really nice helmet, adjustable fit system in the back. It's a great helmet. The previous version of the Receptor Bug was kind of tricky to fit, and they would kind of send it with like if you think back to like old bike helmets, you would get a pack of a bunch of different thickness foam. POC kind of did the same thing with the early version of this helmet. With the adjustable fit system, it's way better. Fits a lot more different shapes and size heads. So that's really nice. Removable goggle clip too. Most people use them. I really like the POC goggle clip. It's a very simple design, but it works really, really well. And yeah, that's the Receptor bug. So if you run into tree branches all the time, this is a great helmet, but it's a really good helmet for just about any kind of resort all-mountain skier. Single impact helmet. So if you, like I said, you can get a bunch of glancing or tree branch blows to your head, and that's fine. But if you have one big traumatic crash, a kind of blunt, hard impact, you will likely want to replace the helmet, which is a theme that we're going to carry through all these helmets. Multi-impact protection is something that people always ask about. There really aren't many multi-impact protection helmets on the market, which we're going to talk about as we look at some other models here. So that's the Receptor bug. Super cool helmet, kind of a classic design, and it's got that really unique kind of design and look with the dual offset exterior shell. So we will put that aside and move along. Next up, we have a helmet that I've worn quite a bit, and the next model I've worn quite a bit too. I used to ski in the Receptor bug, but I have actually switched to skiing in the Fornix more often. This is the Fornix. And what I like about the Fornix, I would not really describe myself as the type of skier who is using my head to clear tree branches out of the way. I very much do not want my head to hit tree branches. But what I do is I ski pretty fast, and I ski in the terrain park a fair amount, and I'm the type of guy that's going to take a cliff drop now and then, and I guess you could say that I ski with a fair amount of risk in my skiing. And for me, what I like about the Fornix is it offers really, really good, like, strong impact protection. Again, it's a single impact helmet, but it's lighter, and it's got adjustable venting, so you can open up the top vents pretty much all the way, so you get a little bit more hot air exiting out of the helmet. Again, you're kind of running a risk if you're the type of skier that is bashing your head through tree branches. You might get one kind of through there. Probably not if you have them closed, but you never know. That's really what's nice about the Receptor bug, is it offers that, it's gonna keep you safe from a tree branch poking through. That's kind of the design of it. But yeah, the Fornix is really cool. What I like about it is it's super light, and it's got these aramid bridges running through it. So this is a moment when I would invite you to look at the other article that we did a few years ago about helmets, because there's some schematics of the design, and we talk really in depth about how it works. But essentially, it's spreading out the force of an impact around more of the helmet. So I was going to bring an old helmet of mine in for show and tell. If you want to see a picture of it, go to that previous article that I'm talking about. I hit a tree really hard wearing a Fornix, snapped my femur in half, and my head hit just as hard as my leg did. It was basically leg and head impact. I have a Fornix at home with about a 4-inch diameter dent in it, and I feel pretty strongly that those aramid bridges helped in that protection. So I really trust this helmet a lot. I trust the Receptor bug adjustable too, but just because of my specific experience with this helmet, I really like it, and it's impressively light. But again, as soon as I had that impact, it was a time for a new helmet. And you can have a much less serious impact than that too, and still really want to replace your helmet. The fit system's a little bit different on this. It's basically integrated into the ear flaps of the helmet. It took me a little while to get used to it, but now that I've used it quite a bit, I actually really, really like it, because it kind of creates a secure fit on the bottom of your skull back here. So it stays comfortable around your head, but it doesn't feel like it's going to come off by any means. So that's the Fornix. Really cool helmet. I actually really like this purple color. I don't know if I've ever had one in my hands for this long, but now that I've had it in my hands for this long, I kind of want one. Granite red. Next up is very, very similar. This is the Fornix backcountry MIPS. So basically we retain everything that I just said about the Fornix, but now you get the Reco avalanche system. So a little kind of, it's not really a transceiver, I guess it is, but it's basically body recovery Reco. So don't feel like it's replacing a beacon, probe, shovel, all that necessary safety gear if you're going out in the backcountry, but it is a nice thing to have. And then kind of the key thing with the Fornix backcountry MIPS is that MIPS. You've probably seen that term before. We're now seeing companies starting to do kind of their own iteration of MIPS. POC actually has their own one called Spin, which is a very similar system. You'll probably see us talking about Spin in future articles. But this is MIPS. So MIPS is basically an independent company that created this design. So you'll see it in different brand helmets. Smith, basically any helmet company that you can think of, they probably have a model with MIPS. Now, MIPS is kind of a confusing acronym. It's really easy to look at MIPS and think that it stands for Multi-Impact Protection System. I cannot stress enough that it does not. MIPS stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. Multi-directional is hyphenated. That's the M in the acronym. So, no, this is not a multi-impact helmet. No MIPS helmet. Well, I shouldn't say no MIPS helmets are multi-impact, but if you see MIPS, that does not mean that it's a multi-impact helmet. What it is glancing blow protection, essentially. So if you're hitting, say you're skiing in the woods and there's a low-hanging tree branch, you try and get under it, but you can't really, and it glances off the top of your head, but hits pretty hard. What MIPS does is it actually allows the helmet to move independently from the liner. So basically, it's hitting, pulling, and dragging the helmet, but it's not dragging your head and your neck. So that's been proven to really reduce rotational impact, which thoroughly reduces traumatic head injury in kind of that glancing blow. There's a lot of cool stats out there on MIPS. We've got some information on it in that previous article that we did, so take a look. I think we actually have an article explaining MIPS too, so lots of other articles out there kind of explaining the MIPS concept, but overall here, I want to stress that it's not multiple impact protection, it's multi-directional impact protection, so quite a bit different. Receptor bug backcountry is just like the Receptor bug, very popular among kind of free ski, free ride athletes. A lot of big mountain skiers use this helmet. A lot of touring enthusiasts use this helmet, hence the backcountry in the title. I would say if you're an alpine touring enthusiast, this is kind of one of the nicer helmets out there because it's so light. Because it's so light, it breathes really well, and then it's got excellent protection on the way down. So really cool helmet. This is actually what I skied in last year. This kind of the backcountry MIPS version of this helmet. Actually, about the past couple of years, I've been skiing in a backcountry MIPS helmet. And I really like it. Again, super light. Pretty customizable too. You can remove the ear flaps, stuff like that if you're into kind of that style. And just a great helmet. And it's thoroughly discounted. This is normally a helmet that's over $200, and I believe it's now under $100. So pretty big saving. Again, I actually really like this blue color, and usually when you see the backcountry MIPS helmet, you'll notice that the kind of POC logo is highlighted in an offset color to the helmet itself. So lastly, and now things are starting to change a little bit, this helmet is a little bit different than what we've looked at so far, for a bunch of reasons actually, but it plays an important role in the world of ski helmets. So this is the Skull Orbic X, and already just looking at it, I'm sure you can notice a lot of differences between what we've looked at so far and this helmet. First thing I'll point out, so the first three helmets that we looked at were not multiple impact. This is a multiple impact helmet. So without getting into kind of the nitty-gritty technical details, essentially it uses a different foam that is rated for multiple impacts. And the reason for that is this helmet is essentially designed and intended for ski racing. Now we'll get a little later we'll talk that we'll get to the point that it doesn't have to just be used by a ski racer. There are other skiers out there that can definitely use a helmet like this, but its intended use first and foremost is ski racing. And what happens with ski racing and slalom, GS, really any discipline, is sometimes you'll run into the gates. It's not ideal, it's not very fun, and gates can hurt quite a lot when you're skiing really fast. But essentially this helmet is designed to take multiple impacts with racing gates. It's thicker in the front of the helmet than it is anywhere else, and it's much thicker than the other helmets we've looked at in the front of it. That's part of the kind of increased protection specifically for ski racing. And it's pretty cool. This is actually an FIS approved helmet. FIS helmets, they've always been kind of the upper tier of ski racing helmets, and we've always recommended to get them. But it's even more important now because in junior ski racing, they require FIS approved helmets, which is a little bit of a new thing. But there are definitely going to be a lot more race leagues that are requiring an FIS approved helmet. And on this helmet, they have a sticker right on the back that's showing you that it's FIS approved. But some other differences between what we've looked at and this, in addition to it being a multi-impact helmet, you have full plastic covers over the ears, which is, again, great for ski racing because you get a lot of kind of side blows, especially from slalom gates when they're bouncing back up at you. And you might be able to see that there's an attachment system for a slalom chin guard as well on this helmet, which is pretty important. If you're racing slalom and you don't have a chin guard, that's not going to be very much fun. So those are the main differences. You'll probably notice that there's no venting on this helmet, so it's really not something that you'd want to, say, Alpine Tour in. But that said, there's a lot of people that can benefit from a helmet like this. If we take Stowe, for example, our home mountain, we have a lot of steep, groomed terrain. We get a lot of really firm snow conditions, and you see a lot of high-level skiers that are skiing fast on firm snow using helmets like this. A lot of them have race backgrounds, and they're kind of used to skiing in a helmet like this. Others just want that added protection. Some people really want that multiple impact protection. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, it's actually somewhat rare to get a helmet with multiple impact protection. So if that's what you're after, this is a great choice. And it just kind of provides a different option from the helmets that we've looked at. While those three are somewhat similar, this really sets itself apart as multi-impact, full ear protection, no vents, so it's a super safe helmet, which is why it's at home in the race course. So that's about it. Those are our 4 POC helmets. We do have some other models from POC too, and we also have tons of other helmets from other manufacturers. So as always, let us know if you have any questions, if you want us to answer any more detailed questions about any of these helmets. If you want to compare them to some other options that we have from POC or from other brands, definitely let us know. And like I was saying, I'll put links to all the product pages for all 4 of these helmets in the description to this video. So definitely check that out. There's some really good deals out there right now. So take advantage of that. We probably will go through these helmets pretty quickly because most of them are models that are in relative high demand and the price is pretty low. So take advantage of it while you can. And we're getting closer every day to being on snow. Hopefully this month we'll be on snow with any luck. It happens every once in a while. Usually Killington or Sunday River in Maine will open really early. And wherever opens, you can bet that we will be there as soon as we can. Stowe usually opens mid to late November, so then we'll really be on snow a lot and have a lot more on-snow gear reviews. But until then, we will keep releasing some review videos. We're going to do a kind of boot instructional video soon, so if you're at all curious about ski boot fitting, that's going to be a really good one to kind of chime in or tune into. And then we'll be releasing all of our ski comparison videos and articles very soon. So you'll probably see the first one in a couple weeks, and then those will be kind of released weekly until we get close to Thanksgiving or so. So we will see you on the slopes, and as always, let us know if you have any questions.